Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Atlanta Sea Colony live stream. My name is Adam Jewell, and with me, as always, is my good friend Brendan Traxler. Brendan, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing super.
Just super. That's it.
I'm doing great.
Oh,
It is
okay.
a great day in the neighborhood.
Not if you're a hamster. Anyways, Brendan, how have you been this week? Past few days, I haven't had a chance to talk to you much.
No, I haven't. And speaking of hamster, I'm still trying to get on. There's a guy that builds underwater habitats for hamsters, and I'd still like to get him on here. Yeah, he's got a YouTube channel, all that kind of stuff. It's kind of cool.
I want to know how that started.
I know he's got it's a lengthy. He's got a bunch of videos and stuff on it. It's really cool.
Why have we not tried to get him on the live stream?
I've been trying. But yeah, I'll shoot you his information. Maybe you can reach out to him too.
Yeah, because that would have been my first priority as soon as we started doing live stream is that we're gonna get the underwater hamster guy on.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, side rails there, but yeah, talking about hamsters, that made me jog my memory there. So anyway, so no, besides your dog in the background, what's been going on with you?
Nothing. I beat COVID. Started a new job yesterday.
Yeah, you got your new job. Mm-hmm.
New haircut yesterday.
I saw that. Yes, I saw that. Yeah. You got something going on over there, Adam?
Yeah, I do. Get up here. It means you can't take no for an answer. No, look up here. Do your thing, because I'm not hooking you up on your own. All right, read your little fact.
Did you know that 7 species of
several?
No, it says 7.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you know all 7
species of sea turtles are endangered?
All of them?
No.
All 7.
7 of them.
And what are you going to do to help them?
I don't know. Maybe try to prevent the amount of plastic in the ocean.
There you go. That's a good one.
Yeah, like clean up the ocean.
You know how you can start that?
How?
Clean your room. Because then all the junk from your room doesn't go into the trash, and then the trash doesn't go into the ocean.
That doesn't make any sense.
It makes a lot of sense. All right. Thank you for your facts, Adrian. Good night.
Hey, Glenn, what part of Iowa are you in?
Yeah, it depends on where. Well, it's even to
It'll still be like several hours, no matter what.
I was gonna say to get to Iowa is probably like about 3 hours for me, just to get to the tippy tip point.
There you got a nice comment on your kid.
She is a sweetheart, but Des Moines.
About 5 or 6 hours still.
I would say that's still a bit of a haul. What brings you to Des Moines, there, Glenn friend?
And did you swing by the largest truck stop in the world while you're out in that area?
Is that in Des Moines? Is that by Des Moines?
It's not in Des Moines, but it's between Illinois and Des Moines.
Why is that what everybody thinks when they go through Iowa? They're like, did you stop at the world's largest truck stop?
What's the only thing in Iowa?
The guys from American Pickers are in Iowa.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
I don't know where.
They're right across the border, though. That's right on the border, though, Illinois.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's right across the river.
Oh, did you go there before?
Standing at their place, you can see the river.
Oh, really? I guess I didn't know that. Because you had a crush on the lady that was in that show.
She's good looking. Danielle.
There you go. I was going to say, what was her name? I don't think that show's on anymore, is it?
I have no idea. We're so off at this point in time.
Yeah, I know. Because, I think I was trying to do something when Adrian came down. Too far, we'll head back to Texas Thursday. And yes, I know all about the I-80 truck stop. Yeah, Des Moines is a 5.5 hour drive for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever been to Des Moines, to be honest with you. Not that I've ever gone that far east anyways. Usually
it's like almost halfway when I'd come up to see you. Des Moines was like halfway. I knew I was...
When you lived in Illinois. It's not halfway anymore.
Right. No.
Well,
But
here, I'm going to
anyway.
make one more post. Why don't you
Okay.
tell us what we're getting into today?
Yeah, well, first off, let's show off some more artwork. We got some new artwork to show off, which is going to be new merch because I just got it late last night, so I haven't done anything with it. But we got. You going to show it, or am I going to show it?
No, you go ahead. I'm pulling up something for our Discord quick.
So we've got the octopus, we got the hammerhead, now we got the manta ray. So we're adding to our line of under aquatic animal logo, which I think I'm gonna turn those into NFTs. That seems an old buzz right now. So might as well turn them into some NFTs. But anyway, so yeah, that's gonna be coming out on merch here pretty soon. Yeah, it's pretty slick. I'm really happy with it. The woman that we have that does it, she does an amazing job every time. So I just let her do whatever she wants to do.
I was telling Brendan right before we went live that the next one we need to do is a sea turtle, because then I think we get all the really cool ones. We got sharks, the mantas. We'll get a sea turtle. We got the octopus.
We get some whales.
Whales would be good. Well, it can't be an orca because technically that's a dolphin.
Yeah.
Do we do dolphins? We need jellyfish too.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot more we can work on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kim loves sea turtles.
Right there with you. I think that's my favorite.
Doesn't do anything for me.
Yes. I don't really care for the sea turtle that much.
But anyway. So yeah. So as you can see from the topic here, we're going to be talking about energy and
NRG.
Energy. So, and I really think that the timing on this is pretty amazing. First off, you put out that post today about the underwater battery for turbines and stuff along those lines that they're talking about. There's been a lot just this week has been a lot about, I've seen popping up about energy creation, energy storage. Joe Quirk from the Seasetting Institute put out a post just about an hour or two ago talking about this patent, I guess, that the ocean builders or he had or something along those lines that's coming under that people are trying to run with. So they're trying to protect it. And it's for creating energy or energy storage underwater. So I think that this topic is very not time sensitive, but a good time to be talking about it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of the main things we need to know how we're going to handle it when we.
Not even that. What I was thinking about wasn't even the creation of power for the habitat, but I was thinking it more of a revenue stream for underwater habitats.
Yep.
I've been doing a series of videos that's going out on our YouTube and our TikTok on different potential revenue streams for underwater habitats and why underwater habitats make sense from a business perspective. I've done data centers, I've done greenhouses. Next one's going to be energy storage. And then when I got looking at it, so I got tons of links that I'm going to drop after the fact in here from sources and stuff like that we're talking about. There's tidal waves, there's geothermal, there's all this other type of stuff. There's underwater turbines. There's so many different ways. And the thing with tidal and turbines and stuff like that is the current's always moving and the waves are always going. So you've got energy 24/7.
Right.
Unlike wind or sun that is intermittent. Sun is there part of the day. Wind comes and goes. Everything else is always running. So it makes a lot of sense in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And obviously I'm a little biased, but I look at underwater habitats, and let's just focus on Atlantic Sea Colony. The whole design element about how we've developed Atlantic Sea Colony is to be, I say agnostic because anything can work. It could be data centers. It could be greenhouses. It could be energy storage. It could be life support. It could be bunkers. It's whatever the person who leases it, buys it, whatever the model is, wants to put into it. As long as it fits it within a shipping container, it works.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, don't tell him that, Glenn. Now he's gonna be high off of that all week. I was right in my thinking.
Of course, I'm always right on my thinking. No, I'm not. But in this, I think I am. And so I got looking at what 40% of the world's population lives within 100 kilometers of the coast. And that's just the coast. That doesn't count for inland bodies, lakes, and stuff along those lines, which, once again, you could put underwater habitats in. Once again, go back to data centers. As the metaverse and stuff like we talked about last week grows, when it comes to... Yes, Kim, except when it comes to sea turtles. But as we talked about in metaverse and data growing, same thing, energy is going to be growing. And as there's this push to get off of fossil fuels and off of coal and other ways of burning and creating carbon dioxide. Is that what it is? Carbon dioxide?
It's definitely carbon something or another.
Yeah. Anyway, that bad stuff.
Yeah.
So you're looking at all these green ways of making energy. And that's fine, but you also have to be worried about downtime. So that's where the battery storage comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you don't need batteries for all of it, but you do need for blackouts or whatever, maintenance, and etc. So I got looking. So how much energy is there going to be? Global electrical needs, I think by 2030, is 28 million terawatts of power. So that sounds like a big number. So I got looking. So what does the average household need?
Thanks, Glenn.
Huh?
Glenn, let us know it's carbon monoxide.
That's it. Yeah, that's what I knew it wasn't dioxide. The average house uses 30 kilowatts. So that's below megawatts, below gigawatts, below terawatts. So a very small percentage of that. So that's tons of data. So I got, what are you smiling about?
Nothing. Keep going. I'm sorry.
So basically what I'm trying to say is that there's a huge need for power that's trying to be supplemented with green energy that hasn't in the past. And with 40% of the population living close to the water, the hydroelectricity or energy coming from the ocean in one way or the other, whether it is floating turbines, whether it is wave energy or whatever it may be, I think is going to grow exponentially. Solar is here to stay. It's a great option. And even over in China, they have a whole entire lake. They just laid solar panels out over it. So that's an option as well. But there's a whole lot more options for it. But the big thing is, where do you store that power? And so, like the article you posted, was it this morning?
Was it yesterday?
I think so. Either way, it talks basically about that exact thing. They've got this company's developed this. It's almost like a bladder underwater that uses natural fresh water underneath the seabed to fill this bladder in downtimes and pump. So it's almost like a organic bladder almost. I got problems with it, but it because of the way it's designed, I think that it's going to break down and have problems. Who knows? That's not the point. I feel like I'm just rambling here at some points in time too.
It makes me think, I know you were never a Seinfeld fan, but Kramer invented a rubber ball that they could store oil in. So like out on the oil platforms, like if there was ever an oil spill, it would just fall off in these rubber balls that would just float.
Yeah.
So when you said a bladder system, that's what immediately went to my head. Sorry.
So now I know you're laughing. Everything runs on them.
That's right.
So you look at the battery storage. So I got looking. Say Tesla. Tesla's a name brand most people know, and their big portion of their company is in battery backup systems. They have some, residential ones, and then they have some huge ones that they're using in Australia and other places to back up the grid and really to run the grid. So I got looking into the size of those, how much storage they can hold. Isn't
that actually like a considerable size of Tesla's business is actually in batteries, not necessarily vehicles?
Yeah. And they're saying that's going to probably take over the cars as far as revenue sometime in the near future. So the you can fit roughly 10 of what they're called power packs on a 40-foot shipping container, more or less. And that, I mean, you could actually fit more, but I'm figuring you probably want some airflow and stuff along those lines. So I factored in 10. But each power pack is 232 kilowatts per power. So that's 2.3 megawatts per shipping container. Now remember that the average house is only 30 kilowatts, so you can fit 7 houses on 1 kilowatt. So that's 70 houses per shipping container could easily be ran off there for
per day, though.
Time. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, what do you mean per day?
How much does you said like a average household would consume? Was that per year or per day or
30 kilowatts per day?
Okay.
So yeah, once again, you're not going to be down for that long a time. Now, up in the north, you have, winter and stuff like that, freezing lines that breaks in the lines that you go for a while. But most of the world doesn't deal with those issues. So the ones closest to the water, you're probably going to be out for, maybe if there's a hurricane or something like that, you might have a problem.
Right.
Or tornadoes where they're at, but there's not too much downtime. So it's going to be minimal. So you got quite a bit of power that you can back up in shipping containers that you then put underwater in habitats. I just think that it's a great business model to be looking at as this continues to grow. And then you bundle it with data centers, or you bundle it with whatever, and they go hand in hand because they need the power. So you could have a habitat that's got multiple pods. One's a data center and one's a power, and so forth. So on.
Yeah. And, when you think about how we want to kind of design it, whether it's in the prototype stage or in the more sleeker design phase, whatever you want to go with, like we'd have those options for all of that, being able to, like you said, have one be your utilities, you could almost say, whether it's, your batteries, your energy storage, whatever, or freshwater tanks or whatever, depending on like what all you're hosting and in whatever you're doing.
Right.
So yeah. And, and then having something like, if you could have a design of where you're harnessing current rather than having to go off of wind or solar, because solar's a perfect green energy, not perfect because you don't have sunlight all day. So it's just like you harness so much of it throughout the day, you can store that energy, but you don't have a continuous. Same with wind too. I mean, wind is a clean source of energy. However, it's not always windy. They don't always run. But the ocean always has a current. So I mean, that would be like, your ideal way of generating energy.
And to your point there, as we said before, it doesn't matter if it's running all the time as long as you get the battery backup for those downtimes too.
Right.
So that's really where the underwater habitat comes into play. Not so much the power generation, but the battery storage. And then you look at the revenue stream for that. Tesla makes a nice chunk of change off of just battery storage. So it's minimal maintenance. You basically plug it in, let it go type of thing. So,
Can you get
yeah.
this bracelet on?
Yeah, and sit and be quiet. Sorry. If then I get to thinking too, is that when you were talking about the average household on how much they consume, you're talking about an average American household, where we're talking about having a modular home, modular habitat that's not going to consume nearly as much, because it's not going to be as big as your modern ranch style house and all that.
Right.
And, I mean, don't get me wrong, you could build based on like our designs, that you could have as big of a habitat, I guess, as you want. But if you were just having like a single habitat to yourself or whatever, you're not going to consume nearly as much electricity. You're not going to have nearly as many things driving the energy out of there. So that would be, you're not going to consume as much as that average, is what I was trying to get across.
Right. And for that, but what I'm talking about is for all the people, the 40% living close to land, you're going to be powering them. So it
Right.
would be your standard houses. If you want to talk about underwater habitats themselves, I always envisioned, for as we progress and we get phase 2 and you'll have like your living pod and you'll have a utilities pod, which will have your battery backup and whatever on it as well. And that can scale as well as the habitat grows.
Right. Yep.
So yeah. I say I got quite a few links in here. I'll even include the link that Joe Quirk was talking about the drawing and the patent.
Yep.
This is just a Google's doc talking about this. Actually, let me pull it up here real fast. Let me grab this here. So, I say it's a submerged pneumatic chambers for energy storage. And once again, this could easily be done using a underwater habitat because all it does is air and water.
Glenn says habitat has to have double or triple redundancy, and the factors should be multiplied by 3 to 4 times required amounts for safety reasons. Absolutely. You almost have to look at it the same as how they, even though it's still worlds apart, but you have to look at it the same way they kind of designed the space station, where it's just like they have a ton of redundancy in it because it's like you can't rely on one thing, because if that one thing happens to go out, you're done for. So they need to have like a backup to the backup to the backup type deal. So yeah, same thing. When you're in an any type of isolated situation, even like some of these like hermits that live out in the middle of the Alaskan wilderness that just kind of live off the land and all that, and maybe they just have like a generator or some solar panels, whatever to whatever they're doing. Like even those guys prepare like, all right, how am I gonna handle things if this resource goes out, if this resource go out, and you got to prepare for that too. But when you kind of have to look at it too, like when things are running good, that's kind of like where you have to kind of get your I guess your selling points too. Like, oh yeah, our household here can run 5 days off of a battery or whatever it may be. But yeah, still want to be able to over prepare too for, like you said, safety reasons.
And to Glenn's point there too, is a redundancy to the land base as well. We need to have a redundancy, but at the same time, we are a redundancy to the grid on the land by being a battery backup to, or even to the sea centers. I mean, as their ocean builders or whomever are developing what they're working on, we can be that battery redundancy to them as well.
Yeah, if you could safely be able, like kind of said, do like offshore energy storage, like I said, safely without damaging environment and whatever around it, then yeah, I mean, because then you don't have to fill up all these other areas with like just battery storage or whatever it is. So, and then same thing with the data centers. One of the big benefits of it is just like self-cooling, so it's just like you save some of your energy costs there.
I was about to say the same thing. I was about to say that, with energy batteries and with data centers, they both need to be cooled. So there's a benefit right there. But yeah, back to this thing here. As you can see, basically what they're showing is that where am I here?
Why don't you go ahead and plug in some numbers on that formula down there, Brendan? I want to see you do that.
Yeah, there's no way. I was always horrible in math anyway, so that's just like that's Greek. But I say this big container here in the bottom where it is creating or storing it, and it's basically the exact same thing that link you put on our social media is showing. It's just different, but it's basically using the basic same principles, I think, to store energy. And yeah, that's something that I remember is either Joe Quirk or Ocean Builders posted several years ago, and I remember looking at it then. I think that Chad showed it to us. So yeah, it's very cool. That's it. It's just one of the many technologies out there. And the other thing, the nice thing about the ocean is you've got tons of real estate and you can build 3-dimensionally without any major issues.
Yep. Yeah, and I don't really have anything else to really tack on with that because, like I said, you always have to throw in the conversation of as long as it's something that we could do responsibly, which is the only way we'd want to do it.
Right.
And but I mean, it's a very plausible option. If you can, and especially with the way a lot of batteries and stuff are made now, a lot of batteries are being made a lot cleaner and with a lot less. They're a lot less dangerous and they're more stable and stuff. I mean, that's just like with any technology, really. It's getting better, safer, and more efficient too. So it's like, if you were to like submerge, like I guess like a battery hub or something like that, you'd want it to be, safe ones to where like if something catastrophic did happen, it's not going to leak tons of like dangerous chemicals out and like cause a huge problem. I mean, obviously there'd still probably be something, but if you can reduce the amount of whatever that is, then all the better. But at the same time, like Glenn's saying, having redundancy systems to where if you have a failure, you have a backup to, keep it under wraps. Not keep it under wraps. That means we're trying to cover it up, but like keep it safe.
And with battery technology, with the advent of solid state batteries, which are working on right now, that takes out a bunch of the corrosive liquids and stuff along those lines.
Yeah.
And there's even some people are looking at just using dirt to store as a battery. It's crazy that it's just like the dirt itself or bricks. And it's just, I don't understand it, but they're using just stuff that lays around that's able to store energy in it somehow. So once again, there are no liquids or anything with it or any metals that we have to be mined. It is whatever there. So, and then like this thing that from the Ocean Builders or that we posted, where it just uses fresh water in bladders or against air to store energy. So like I say, there's tons of technologies out there. And as some of the commenters on our Facebook on the thing, we're talking about how this would be great if you could get it smaller and stuff along those lines for, instead of big hydroelectric dams or windmills and stuff like that, which are giant and can't be used by the everyday man. But like any technology, if it becomes widely, if a big industry gets behind it, it's going to get shrunk down to be marketable to the everyday man because they know there's going to make money to be made off of it that way.
Right.
But yeah. So basically what I'm trying to say is
give us some
underwater
money.
habitats. What?
Give us some money.
Yeah. Yes. If you want energy storage out in the ocean, we can do it.
Yeah.
You want data centers out in the ocean, we can do it. You want greenhouses out in the ocean, we can do it. We just need a little $1.99.
Yeah.
But no, it is. And once again, that's what's so exciting about this field. I was talking to somebody the other day that you're in a field that doesn't exist. So trying to figure out the ins and outs of it is pretty crazy. And there's a YouTuber called The Angry Astronaut. The guy's a little out there, basically on his name and stuff along those lines, but he's got a decent following. And he had a video the other day talking about how Mars is a horrible idea for a plan for a second home. And so I even posted in there, I agree. I love space, but the oceans are our future. And so I'm hoping that stirs some kind of dialogue in there as well. I post in there every once in a while different space communities, just trying to put our name out there too as a viable option for worst case scenario type of thing. What you got there, Adam?
While you were talking, I was trying to pull up the underwater hamster guy to try to get his contact info.
Oh, did you find him?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I choose Hampshire.
Yeah, that's it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I said, under the ASC call, I've liked some of his videos and commented and stuff like that. And so, yeah, he'd be cool, I think.
We're going to get him on somehow, some way.
Yeah.
But yeah, back to the topic at hand. Oh, what else do we want to tack onto that topic?
I mean, I don't think there's much to be said. It's just one of those things where it's another business revenue that's out there that is untapped, but I believe that will be a large portion. And one of those we're always looking at how is the ocean habitation realm going to get cracked open? What's going to be that thing? I personally don't believe it's going to be resorts and hotels and all that kind of stuff. I think it's going to be the business side of things, whether it is energy storage, whether it is aquaculture, data centers,
Tourism
whatever
as
it
a
is.
business.
Yeah, something along those lines. I don't think it's going to be about even tourism. I don't think it's going to be people centered. I think it's going to be business centered. I could be wrong, but I think that the business factor is definitely where the money is going to be, especially. And so I think that you use that and you follow that. That's definitely where your money is going to be.
Right. Yeah, and like you said, you're in a field where not much has been done with it before. I mean, yeah, people have, tinkered around with it. I mean, Jacques Cousteau obviously made strides in it, years ago, and the seasteaders are doing a lot of stuff, or the ocean builders and all that. But I mean, it's not like it's a large group, and it's not like it has a large amount of funding behind it. And one of the frustrating things about it is, let's say before Microsoft dropped their data center, into water, like that, we've posted several articles about, and it was this big revolutionary thing that Microsoft did that. But had we said something beforehand, like even before they did, like, hey, you could have underwater habitat centers, a lot of people would be like, but could you really? But when you already have the backing, and the money to go and do that, people would be like, oh, of course you could do that. Microsoft did that. It's like, oh, so it's a lot of the things that we're saying aren't crazy to think about. It's the fact that meanings we're not Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos. We're not the ones in a suit and tie in front of a conference saying it. Doesn't mean that we might not have some good ideas on how it's going to get done, or why it would be a good idea.
Right, and to that point, there's crazy ideas out there that we don't even think of that will happen too. Glenn's point here, exactly. Yeah, it's very similar in my opinion that once either the it's like anything. Take for example, I had to keep on harping on it, but the metaverse, it is the buzzword right now. So everybody's jumping on board with it, type of thing. If you can do the same thing with underwater habitation, colonization, whatever you want to call it, everybody's going to jump on it because it is the cool shiny thing right then. And so we just have to figure out where is that cool shiny thing, and how do we get it out there for everybody to latch onto it and jump onto it. I often tell Adam, a lot of this is just throwing darts and seeing what sticks with a lot of what I do. And so I think it's very much the same thing. And so that's why I really like our business approach to the thing, where it is that you can throw all the darts you want at it and we can make them all work, type of thing too. So there is that too. But yes, I agree, Glenn. I think you're right.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, one of the big buzz things right now is, can we colonize Mars? Can we colonize the moon? The space exploration, space colonization, which I believe someday is going to happen regardless. I mean, there's too much going into it for it to not eventually happen. But at the same time, right. Listening to one of the podcasts I've listened to is they were talking about, colonizing Mars. They're like, yeah, it's like a cool concept to think about it, but how many people are actually going to want to do it? Because, yeah, there'd be that thrill of being able to be like, yeah, I live on Mars, but it's like, it's a big dust planet is what it is. I mean, it's all rock. It's all, it's not like you have, the beautiful nature you have on Earth. Like, you don't have animals and the sea and whatever. It's just it's a red planet, and it's not meant for humans right now. So, I mean, you'd have to live in a bubble. You'd have to live in a certain type of thing just in order to live. Whereas what we're trying to accomplish, it's just yeah, you can have a different type of way of, either just living or a different way of just having a different type of vacation, a different way of doing business, a different way of handling your business. And God forbid if there's a failure, you're right there at home. Like you're still on Earth. Like you're still, there's a failure out on Mars or on the moon. It could go south super quick. Like there isn't just a quick trip back to your house if it doesn't work out.
And to that point too, the thing with the oceans and Mars and the moon, they're very similar as far as you are dependent upon that building you're in and the suit that you wear outside. The difference between that, especially with Mars, is it is a one-way trip because it takes you 6-9 months to get there, and then every 2 years of rotation. So you're there for 2 years and another 6 months back. So you're 3 years of diminished gravity, which is going to jack up your bones and your muscles.
Mm-hmm.
And then you try to come back here to Earth. Unless you're like the epitome of health, you're probably going to die. I mean, your body's not going to be able to support that when it comes back to a full 1G after all that time and space. Versus you could spend 3 years underwater and then come out if you wanted to and be completely fine. Yeah. Sure, you may be a little pale, but you're going to be fine otherwise. And that's what the other benefits too. Like you said, the view. If you want a barren land, there's barren land underwater. They can put a habitat and you can look at nothing out there as well. So,
but you'll still have at least fish that swim by, which is nice.
Maybe. And even if you don't, whatever. But the same thing is, if you do get sick and you need severe treatment, you can be taken out and you can come to land and get the help you need. Yeah.
Yeah, you go to Mars and get kidney stones up there, Brendan. It's going to be a lot different.
I'd be floating, so maybe they'll be floating too.
You'd be like, I can't. It's like weightlessness, but I'm still in a lot of pain. Like my back still hurts.
I would have walked out of that airlock and just died. But anyway, I think we've completely gone off the rails here from some of our conversation tonight. But
that's
it's true.
Glenn said, would be my last adventure, and there are many like me.
Yeah. Like I said, I love looking at the stars. I love thinking about it, but I just have zero desire to go to space.
I think the most I'd ever want to do, and I would want to make sure 1 million people went before me, is to do one of those trips like up where you can see the Earth and then come back down. That'd probably be the extent. And even that, like, I think it would be a lot for me to do because I don't like flying. I don't like being on planes. So, like, flat out leaving the atmosphere or whatever, like, yeah, it'd be cool and everything. Being, like, weightlessness would be awesome, especially for a fat guy like me. It'd be like, yeah, this is awesome. But I don't know. You can also experience a lot of that same kind of feeling in the water, too. I mean,
yeah, I was going to say,
a little bit
you
different,
can be
but
weightless in the water, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like you said, that even though it's not amongst this topic, but it's just like I would like to eventually get scuba certified and be able to do more stuff like that, because it's like one thing as a kid growing up, I always loved swimming and stuff. It's just never like I don't like necessarily going to public pools and swimming and stuff, and like the lakes around here are super dirty, so that's not necessarily favorable either. But like being able to in these like in the ocean where at least maybe places that don't have a lot of sharks or jellyfish or something that can sting me, like that would be awesome. Or like having like this certain like bodies of water, like I could just see that being peaceful, relaxing, like just something really fun to do. Like that could be an experience itself rather than be like, oh, I want to get on a rocket ship and go up and go on something that like only it's the ocean, Kim says. Yeah, I know there's a lot of crazy stuff out there too.
Merfolk.
Yeah, mermaids. What if we like prove their existence?
That's the thing. Who knows what we're gonna off subject, completely off subject.
Like we're just chilling in our habitat. It's like what was that? And they look out the window and it's just like, hey, you guys are kind of new to the neighborhood. We brought you like Jello.
They just found was it a fish? It's some kind of animal deep in the ocean that could potentially eliminate COVID-19.
What?
Yeah, I saw it the other day. They were talking about the way that it treats viruses and stuff along those lines. I don't remember. I have to find the article. I'll have to find the article.
Yeah, because that'd be a good thing to post on our thing. That'd be really interesting because like if it's a broad generalization, if it can defeat viruses, I mean that could go a lot further than just COVID or whatever.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of articles and stuff. No, Kim, I'm saying that's what they would offer us, like mermaid jello. Okay. I would offer them like, I don't know, depends on what I brought down there, like maybe some Hot Pockets or something. I don't know. I don't eat Hot Pockets, but something microwavable probably. Anyways, what I'm saying is like from the very beginning, a lot of researchers were trying to figure out if a lot of medicine options were, especially before COVID, were viable through like, plants that you can get, via the ocean, and whether it's fish or, all that. So, but it's opened up a field too, because like you said, the more that they discover about the deep ocean and these unexplored spots, they're discovering, certain plant life and all this other stuff that that there could be cures for stuff. There could be medicine. Glenn says there's your trigger to advanced colonization is we can cure COVID.
Well, I mean, and honestly, there is that. There's something I've been thinking about here a lot recently is the fact that you could, especially if you get out far enough and you're out past any kind of regulations stuff along those lines, the potential for cures, because you don't have to go through the FDA. I'm not saying the FDA is bad, but I'm saying if you don't have to go through the stringent, you're able to test stuff a little bit more freely. Who knows what kind of cures you could come up with out there on it, because you don't have to have such a big budget to do stuff either, because you have to worry about the FDA, all that kind of stuff. Is a cure for cancer out there? Maybe. Who knows?
Right.
And that's the cool thing about it is these avenues will and can open up once we're able to get stuff either on the sea or under the sea.
Yeah. Really? And it's up to the people that want to purchase a habitat. If you want to go cure some diseases, we'll build you a habitat for it.
Yeah.
You want to just have a home? We'll build it for you. You're looking for like a summer getaway or a winter getaway, maybe? We'll get it to you. Just let us get it to you. And then just let us see what you do with it. You want to build a lab? Cool. You want to have underwater storage? Cool. You want to go steal the Mona Lisa and hide it somewhere? Okay. Think about that, like an art thief, professional art thief that uses one of our underwater habitats. That'd be really risky, though.
We never talk about the bad things that can be done with these, but there's quite a few bad things you could do with underwater habitats, especially if you're out past any kind of international laws.
Let's just go with art thieves or art theft for the worst that you could do. What do you say?
Actually, Glenn, I think that's a misnomer. I think I read an article a few years ago that said they have found cancers in certain sharks. Because yes, I agree with you. That's why I always said too. I said sharks are the cure to cancer. Then I found something debunking that.
Well, it's because I don't think they get tumors. I think they get thremers.
Let's see, Live Science.
Nothing? That was cool.
Yeah, a great white was found with a tumor. Yeah, you can see it's a giant tumor on its mouth. But once again,
did it come in contact with one of us?
And Roy, I think I still think that, there's a lot. Even if sharks do get cancer, like Kim said, that there's been several pharmaceutical advances from jellyfish. There's a lot going out on the ocean that we're just on the tip of the iceberg to figure out.
Thank you, Kim.
What is Glenn talking about?
Hide the bodies, booty barn. 1,500. All right, Glenn. We're starting to question your involvement. Is that why you want us to get these things done so fast? Like, you got some.
That's like Glenn's like, hey, come live at my house and build this thing. I've got a bunch of bodies got to take care of.
And you're going to be the last one. Oh, Glenn, I hope you're not a serial killer. That would be terrible if we found out it. He says, I'll never tell. Oh, God. Yeah, Kim says they're still finding new species.
Exactly.
I remember back in the 90s, like when I was in like kindergarten or first grade, it was like a huge deal that they found a coelacanth. Like there's like, oh, we thought this thing was extinct for how long? And they're like, now like they find them quite a bit now. I think like I don't think it's that hard for them to find them now.
No,
which is great. Well, don't get me wrong, but it's just like people are finding out that there was something not too long ago.
Yep.
Another deep sea fish or something that they thought was, and then they found out that they might just be in this different area a little bit deeper. I couldn't remember what it was to be able to tell you, but.
And that's the thing, as much as love what Ocean X and stuff are doing, because I mean they're doing some great work. They're constantly moving, and so it's going to be hard to find. I mean, yes, you're going to find stuff, but if you got a stationary habitat, and especially if you can mass produce these and stick them all over the place, and then line them with sensors and cameras and just let them do their thing, sitting there 24/7 collecting data.
Yeah,
I mean, who knows what we're going to find?
Like, I could walk through, like I said, I live in South Dakota. I could walk out in the middle of the country or whatever for like a mile and probably never see like a deer, for example. They're all over the place. But if I were to set up a spot, chances are I'll probably see one walk by or do something, because it's just like, yeah, if you're constantly moving, maybe you won't see stuff. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. But that's just kind of like how nature works in a sense, where it's just like you kind of almost have to let it come around you in a way. Like most animals,
because they have to get used to it too.
Yeah, most animals and stuff, they're gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna get out of the way. Some might be, want to come check it out, like a grizzly bear. I don't think that would necessarily run away from me, but it'd be in its best interest to. I'll tell you that much. Because I'll mess up a grizzly bear. Anyways, Brendan, do you want to wrap this one up for today?
You go for it.
Oh, guys, it's been real. It's been fun, but it hasn't been real fun. Kidding. Anyways, guys, AtlanticSeaColony.com. That's where you can get all of our social medias. I'm talking about my Facebooks, my LinkedIns, my Instagrams, YouTubes. Hey, and by the way, we say this once in a while. YouTube, subscribe, hit that bell. I know that sounds really annoying, especially if you watch a lot of YouTube videos and the YouTubers are always like, hey, hit that subscribe bell and hit that whatever. But at the same time, hit that like button and all that. But if you do hit the bell or whatever, and you do enjoy tuning in, it'll give you that notification, whether it's on your phone or whatever, like, hey.
Or subscribe too, because we get a lot of people that are consuming that aren't subscribing.
Yeah. Say like you can't catch us live or whatever, but you do want to catch up, subscribe to it and it'll show up on your feed. So yeah, do that, guys. Do that. Go to our YouTube and do all that. Also Discord. Brendan, you want to throw the Discord link up in the chat while we're going through this?
You keep on talking. Yeah, that's actually, it's automatically in the link. I add it to all the shows automatically, but I'll get it real quick fast.
Okay, yeah. Join our Discord. We got a lot of cool stuff going on in there right now. We have we actually have a lot of talk going on right now with power and utilities, like we did today on the live stream. We talk about off-grid sustainability, and the habitat, just location ideas, just a lot of good community, a lot of people just talking and hanging out, which is awesome. We're getting like new people joining every week, like not just like one person a week. We're getting a few every week, which is nice, slowly but surely. Anyways, also go to AtlanticSeaColony.com/merch. When will we see the manta ray design go up?
I'm going to try to get it done tonight or tomorrow.
Okay.
And also with that, we'll get to it in a second, but I was waiting for that image to finalize the tiers on the Patreon too, because we're going to have 2 new tiers coming out, hopefully tomorrow, but this week.
I'm pretty sure I asked you to get that done before live stream, but whatever. I guess you were busy.
Well, how do you wait for the image?
Yeah. No, but yeah, with the Patreon, let me dive into, actually, I'll get to Patreon. So for people, if they're willing to help out, they want to do a one-time donation, you can either go through paypal.me/AtlanticSeaColony. That's a super simple way of doing it. Also, these links are on the website as well, or Cash App. If you want to go $AtlanticSeaColony, do that as well. Any little bit helps, and we appreciate it. Patreon. So we have a lot of moving parts in the background. I shouldn't say we. Brendan's doing all the work with Patreon, so kudos to him. But we're adjusting tiers and all that. But one thing we are working on, we're going to finalize it, especially for those that are in our Discord. We want to do like something special for Patreon
Yeah, good
members
point.
in the Discord. So we're gonna get that finalized on how all that works. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully, we'll be able to give you the layout of it next.
Do you want to give a
Tuesday.
hint at kind of what we're talking about doing, or you want to hold off?
Well, yeah. So like we talked about doing like a, I think monthly, give or like doing a monthly meetup to where it won't be a live stream, but we'll be on Discord and we can do like a video conference. So not just like Brennan and I, but any of the Patreon members too, where we can all meet up, talk about whatever it is, and just have a more personal conversation. We can give like updates that we may not necessarily always give on live stream.
Yeah.
Just make, like I said, make it a more personal type deal, and be more of a family environment, just kind of hanging out. But yeah, we'll have more details and finalize that here this week and be able to give you the details on the next live stream, and then hopefully on the social medias as well. Having said that, thank you to the patrons that we have so far: Edward Haas, Brian Acosta, S. Babe Hyde, Matthew Cathy, Martin Reese. Thank you guys for your support and helping out. Goes a long way to help us continue to do what we are doing with the live stream and all that other good stuff. So, having said all that, Brendan, you got anything else you want me to go over?
Yeah, I don't. I think we're good. Glenn, have a good week. Kim, thanks for chiming in here.
Yeah, nice seeing you guys.
Yeah.
All right, guys. We're
going to try to have Babe back on here pretty soon. He's got work, but yeah, I know definitely he's frothing at the bit to get on here.
He's a busy man.
Yeah.
Busy man Babe. That's what we're just going to start calling him now. Yeah, so we'll have another good episode for you next week. Thanks, whoever that is. Anyways, we'll see you guys next week.